Namaskar and welcome all the viewers. And today we have with us a very special guest, Shri Salah Uddin Shoaib Choudhury ji. Salahuddin Shoaib Choudhury ji, welcome to the show. And he is a founder editor of Bangladesh's leading weekly publication Blitz. He's also a counter-terrorism expert and he contributes regularly to several international publications and journals. He's quoted extensively by several think tanks, and he has been writing extensively about the current situation in Bangladesh apart from other geopolitical issues. And today we are going to discuss with him the current situation in Bangladesh as Bangladesh is moving towards an election. There have been a lot of developments recently. A tribunal has passed death sentence on Sheikh Hasina. After that, Sheikh Hasina has given a number of interviews. So now, the battle lines are drawn, and there is a major, you can say, a major political upheaval which is happening in Bangladesh. Sir, I'll start with your latest tweet in which you have said that uh, Pakistan-backed criminal network spreading devil's breath across Bangladesh and India. So, if you can elaborate a little bit about this, because it is super exclusive information which you have shared on your X handle. So, kindly and to our viewers, we will also be sharing the Twitter handle of or X handle of Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhry Saab. You can follow him. You can get latest updates from him on X. He is quite active there, and also I'll be sharing the link of Blitz, which you can read online. So, Mr. Chaudhary, if you can, elaborate a little bit more on what do you mean by Pakistan-backed criminal networks spreading devil's breath across Bangladesh and India?
Thank you very much, Arunji. As you know, since September last year, following the last year's jihadist coup, the Yunus regime lifted the mandatory provisions for security clearance while issuing visas to Pakistani nationals. Because previously, Pakistani nationals were put on suspicion list, obviously for their criminal activities throughout the world. So, taking advantage of this waiver of security provisions, almost every day people are arriving from Pakistan. And as we know, there is no direct flight between Dhaka and Karachi at this moment. And even if there is, because India has closed the sky for Pakistani flag carriers, so for a Pakistani national, it takes 10 hours to arrive in Bangladesh, and they must uh, travel by Qatar Airways or Emirates. And both are expensive, methods. Now, Pakistan is taking this advantage. They are bringing in counterfeit Indian currency notes, Bangladeshi currency notes, drugs, and at the same time, devil's breath. They are selling devil's breath to their local dealers. At the same time, they are operating crime network using the devil's breath, and they are using the stranded Pakistanis for this operation. And according to my information, they are not only operating in Bangladesh with this, they are sending small groups of 4 people inside India, which is led by a Pakistani national. And then they are journeying to Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and other parts of India and doing this kind of the criminal activities. So only yesterday, 2 Pakistani nationals were arrested in Cox's Bazar area. You know, Cox's Bazar is again a very sensitive area where Americans are now operating heavily. At the same time, Cox's Bazar is near to Chittagong Hill Tract, which is land connected with your Tripura and other northeastern states. So a Pakistani citizen arrested with devil's breath in Cox's Bazar, it also gives evidence to substance to our doubt that they are also doing this similar criminal type of criminal activities inside India.
Uh, Sir, you have recently broke a big story on your weekly has has come out with an exclusive by Mr. M.A. Hussain, and the title is Jamaat Amir warns genocide during election day in Bangladesh. So I'll just quote from the a couple of lines from the article, and if you can also throw some light on this. So the latest spark came from Jamaate Islami Amir Dr. Shafiqur Rahman, who cautioned that holding a national referendum on the same day as the election could trigger what he termed election genocide. So this is a new term which we have heard, election genocide. So what exactly he means and what is the context?
Arunji, you are also one of the very esteemed writers of Blitz, and you are already accustomed to our pattern of reporting and articles. We don't cater gossips. We are a very serious type of newspaper, and this Mr. M. A. Hussain, he is a military analyst. So this Jamaat-e-Islami Army's statement of genocide on the election day, we have also provided a video link to this statement. Genocide. He said if referendum will be held on the same day of election, there will be genocide. Now, election will be held on the same day with referendum. Referendum was demanded by Jamaat-e-Islami. And Jamaat-e-Islami wanted to hold a referendum before the election so that through the referendum, they can switch to an authoritarian uh, pattern of Sharia rule where there will be no election. So when they're talking about genocide, if we will look into the history from 14th August 1947 until now, in this part of the world, whenever there is genocide, the only victims are Hindus. And if Shafiqur Rahman is publicly talking about genocide, then he is definitely talking about Hindus, not even Awami League, Hindus. So for a political leader publicly declaring of genocide, and as we know, Jamaat Islami is an offshoot of Muslim Brotherhood. And Muslim Brotherhood has, uh, there was a research paper recently released by an US think tank, which stated that Muslim Brotherhood has penetrated deep inside American educational institutions. And I have written another article today, which has been published in Usana's Foundation. You are also an esteemed fellow of the Usana's Foundation. And in that article, I have also mentioned it's not only penetrating inside the campuses, the Muslim Brotherhood and Jamaat Islami and their other proxies, they have also infiltrated within media, intellectuals, and others in India and Bangladesh and other countries. So Jamaat Islami Army's this statement, we know, though Muslim Brotherhood is advancing is the agenda of Islamization of the United States and the West, but the Western countries are extremely favorable to Jamaat Islami and Islamic. Not only in the US, we know that America, deep state particularly, they are behind all the jihadist groups in the world, including Al Qaeda and Islamic State. Even now, they are romancing with the terror patron Pakistan, terror patron nation. They are romancing with Pakistan. So when this Jamaat Islami Amir is talking about genocide of Hindus, Americans or Westerners, so-called uh, uh, rights groups, they are absolutely silent. No one is talking about anything because as if the American deep state wants to send the Hindus in Bangladesh to slaughterhouse, turning Bangladesh into another Afghanistan or Syria, and then they would like to actualize their real agenda is looting the country. So this Jamaat Amir statement, we cannot take it lightly because he is the top leader of the Jamaat Islami, which is an offshoot of Muslim Brotherhood. And this statement also categorically proves how desperate the Islamists and jihadists have become following last year's jihadist coup in this country.
Sir, if we have to look at the political situation in Bangladesh, there seems to be a kind of a lot of unrest, especially since the Yunus government has taken over. A coup had happened. Basically, Sheikh Hasina had to flee, and she came to India. But ever since then, there seems to be continuously, a situation of political unrest. Hindus have been attacked. Then Awami League was banned. Awami League supporters were, attacked. And then we have seen that how there is an internal bickering within the Yunus regime also. Uh, so, uh, so how do you what is it basically, which is what are the key driving factors of Bangladesh politics right now, especially in run up to the proposed elections in February?
Arunji, I'd like to humbly say that the I'd like to humbly say that the agenda of Yunus is the agenda of the Jewish deep state, and that is what they want to Islamize Bangladesh and ultimately turn it into a rogue nation, same as Pakistan. Now, if you are, as you have asked that, what is happening in this country, I would like to say that it's not only attack on Hindus. You know that music classes are being declared banned in this country. Even physical exercise classes are banned. There is were been attack on Hindus, Christians, ISKCON, and latest attack on Baul. So this is exactly the uh, America's Mujahideen playbook, what they played in Afghanistan. And Yunus is a voice of the, not voice only, he is a very much integral part of the America's blueprint, US deep state blueprint. So the political agenda of Yunus and his illegal regime is to turn Bangladesh into a Pakistan, a rogue state, a terror patron nation, even a narco terror state. So I don't see any politics in it. It's all terrorist activity and criminal actions.
So, sir, how are the ordinary citizens of Bangladesh looking at this situation, and how they are getting affected by? Of course, they are getting affected by it, but what is the impact on ordinary citizens? Because there is a sense that they had a lot of expectations when there was a regime change, because it was positioned that this regime change has been done by the young students who want a much cleaner Bangladesh, who want basically a corruption-free Bangladesh and administrative reforms and other reforms. So it was given a very progressive kind of a outlook. But now, almost basically kind of a one and a half years down the line, uh, what is the general mood of society in Bangladesh?
Arunji, in every country in the world, the so-called Gen Zs, they're being used by US deep state with false narrative, false hopes. And those Gen Zs, they don't know what they are doing. So when they are coming on the street, chanting slogan against their government, they don't know actually they are paving the path to committing suicide. In Bangladesh, you are correct. Last year, it was not regime change movement. It was a movement against quota in the government job. That was a tricky way US deep state does everywhere in the world. And now this quota, protesting in quota, ultimately, 3 days before the ouster of Sheikh Hasina, it became the anti-government movement. And Sheikh Hasina repeatedly said that Jamaat Islami and Islamists are behind that movement. Finally, Jamaat Islami, when Sheikh Hasina was ousted, Jamaat Islami started publicly admitting that they were the key driving force behind the protest, and Bangladesh Nationalist Party also. Meaning America, deep state has used their local mercenaries in Bangladesh in destabilizing the country. And whenever US deep state destabilizes any country, for example, we are seeing what is happening in Pakistan. It has become a bankrupt nation, a beggar nation. So the Bangladesh is also journeying towards becoming a bankrupt nation, same as Pakistan. And this is the final consequence of any country falling into the traps of US deep state regime change plot. Though Tulsi Gabbard on the 25th of October, during the Manama conference, she said that America has retreated from the regime change plot because it was trillions of dollars were spent, many lives lost, etc., etc., etc. But we are seeing even America is doing the same thing in Venezuela. They're trying to do it in Mexico. So it's the kind of I should say, the regime change notoriety is very much within the DNA of American politics because American politics is controlled by Pentagon. American politicians are puppets of Pentagon, let's say in this way, because if we consider 2024 election consequent result, then Trump was losing, Kamala Harris was winning. Suddenly, there was attack on Trump, and we all know the attack with a sniper rifle, and I mean there are so many question marks, and Trump suddenly won. So it is Pentagon operating the entire American politics. So in Bangladesh, is as I said, any country, not only Bangladesh, any country, you will see Nepal will also become bankrupt very soon if they do not realize their blunders and abandon the policies of listening to so-called Gen Z, send the students to classrooms. Nepal will also become bankrupt. But unfortunately, my country, where students are not sent to the classrooms, they are appearing as mobs with various names. Even recent time, they are appearing as Tawhidi Janata. I mean, the masses of Allah, something like this. So this is very dangerous thing Bangladesh is heading, and unless the country, the 18 crore people realize and wake up against the Yunus regime and drive away American mercenaries and deep state from this country, I'm unfortunately worried that my country's sovereignty may at one stage be at stake.
Then my last question is I'll combine two questions. That China was also a major, presence. China also had a major presence in Bangladesh, and we know that U.S. and China are arch rivals. So, what is China right now doing, or how China is responding? Because we saw that in initial days, in initial months, Yunus government had a huge tilt towards China, and he even traveled to, and you had again done that exclusive that when he traveled to China, so he traveled on a Chinese plane rather than going on a Bangladesh Air Force plane or a Bangladeshi plane. So how China is responding to it, and what do you see the way forward? Because Bangladesh seems to have become a theater, a new theater of the great game, and major powers in the world, and there are Islamists, then there is US, then there is China. So, and India is watching all this keenly. So, how do you see way forward, especially in context of and the how China is responding to it?
Arunji, if we look into the Soviet war against Afghan war against Soviet Union, Pakistan was the handler on behalf of the United States, and Pakistan always backstabbed America, cheated America. This time, after the regime change, America is trying to implement its actualize its targets to Pakistan, and Pakistan is a country which always backstabs is anyone who trusts. So, in the name of showing loyalty to Donald Trump, Pakistan is supplying Chinese weapons, Chinese military hardware to Bangladesh, but this time they're doing it via Pakistan. So, in other words, America is losing the market, defense market, and China also is losing the defense market. because at one stage you'll see China has massive investment in Bangladesh. So Pakistan will ultimately put Bangladesh in such a situation where, because of America's increased presence, at the same time, Yunus is handing over all the ports, terminals, and seaports to foreign companies, Danish companies, Swiss companies, not American companies, even not Chinese companies. So the Denmark from Switzerland and European Union, ultimately at the end of the day, let's say NATO nations. So the NATO nations are coming to Bangladesh, and NATO nations are never going to be helpful or friendly to China, and China will lose its massive investment in this country very soon, and Pakistan never serves the purpose of anyone. It only creates the mess. And Pakistan already, as you know, that with the latest parliamentary, the decision in the Senate, Asim Munir has almost become the emperor of Pakistan. So Pakistan already is under a pseudo military rule already. There is no existence of Pakistani president or whatever. And for Bangladesh, I can say America and China both are going to be the biggest losers, and the only gainer is Pakistan for short time. And finally, Pakistan will create an atmosphere where American people working in Bangladesh and the people from the NATO nations working in Bangladesh, they will all of them will be put into line of fire.
So thank you so much, sir, for bringing in this perspective, and we'll continue to track Bangladesh with Mr. Chaudhry. And as I mentioned earlier, no, I'll be mentioning the his X handle as well as the link of Weekly Blitz. You can read the latest updates on Bangladesh, South Asia, and other geopolitical issues there. And if you have liked the video, please share it and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back soon with another conversation. Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary, for taking time out from your busy schedule and
Thank you.
sharing your
Namaskar.
insights. Namaskar.